Welcome to Game of Thrones podcast, Game Week 23. In the room, I have here with me John, Sham, Mihir, and myself, obviously. But a cracker of a game week we've had. Some absolute awesome results, close shaves. A lot of rivalry from the last podcast, and I think we might hear some more interesting conversations taking place today as well. So, without further ado, let's kick off. Let's kick off with the main fixture at this point in time, Sham v John, and what a result that was. That had to be one of the best games of the game week. 46 to John, 44 to Sham. A victory for John. A lot was riding on this particular game as well. Amongst them, as a bet for breakfast, pride, and all sorts. So, do you know what? Let's just hear from Sham. Sham, how do you feel about this?
John done fantastically well. It was a good crack, and he won. He played well. His teams. He got lucky with some of the fixtures. You know, Sterling getting 2 bonus points instead of 1. He did well. He played well. My team played a little bit better than they did last week, so it is an improvement. But like I said, this is a transitional team. Did you watch the game? You're staying silent, sending me screenshots and stuff. But,
John, what's the reference there?
Granted, you know what? He did fantastically well. Such a small team, such a small fish in the pond, to basically beat the current champion. It's impressive. Well done. Everyone needs these big wins because this is going to be the biggest highlight of his season. So, let him have it.
Ah, interesting. Yeah. So you couldn't. So for Sham, you lost out on 3 points. But John, what was your view on that game? You were quite confident initially, right? During the podcast, you were quite confident. How do you feel after this victory?
Not much to say. We won. We got 3 points. Beat the little team. That's all it is.
The little team. You're 6th in the league. What are you so deluded? What's going on?
See, actually,
6th in the league.
6th in the league.
7th. Oh, 7th. Sorry, 7th. I was trying to make him feel good, but no, 7th in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've never hit past 7th place. But,
it's actually statistically. Have you been past 7th?
He doesn't sound happy, does he?
No.
He doesn't sound happy.
No. I am happy because if you see the league table, it still says P1. I've lost this game and I've still stayed in the top position because it was a great game to lose because Abu played Nick and I got the best result, which is a draw. It's a fantastic.
Do you think there's anything on your squad that's sort of hampered anything of your farming or choicing that might have done differently overall?
Definitely mistakes on the board, but everyone makes them. I mean, I think a mistake for all the managers is not picking up Jota. Played fantastically well in the last game week. We knew he was going to come up with something. Granted, I don't think anyone thought he was going to get a hat trick, but we knew there was going to be cards on the board. So missing out on him, I think that's a mistake by every manager.
In my defence, I've had him.
Yeah.
And
I can't have him again.
We welcome Dan as well. Dan's just joined us, everyone. Thank you very much, Dan.
Better late than never.
Better than never. We're just going through the first game here between John, going through the highs and lows, what worked best, what didn't work best. John, I think you must have clinched with Sterling's bonus points, I think, right? Did he get 3 bonus points?
2.
2 bonus points, so yeah. And you had a few points on the bench available as well, so considering the effects, that's you've done well on a 46-point victory. It's unfortunate to lose on 44 points, but good game, guys.
It happens in fixtures. Small teams sometimes get the win. So, in this case, this happened. It's fine. I've made his season, so let him celebrate.
I wouldn't say you've made my season. I did this for the rest of the league. I invited everybody to breakfast on your behalf, and I went and done the job.
Did you invite? Did you send the meeting invite?
I went and done the job on the pitch.
Did you invite people?
Well,
did you come up with a bet?
No, but I won it.
No, did you come up with the bet? Did
No,
you
but
come
I
up? Did you
finished it.
say, okay, let me treat these guys?
No,
Let me come
no,
up
you
with a bet.
thought you
Let
were
me be
confident. You
progressive.
thought I'd back down.
No, I'm just asking a
You thought I
question.
would say, no,
you made
I
a
can't,
point.
I can't
You made
do
a point. I'm asking a question. Like, did you invite people?
No, because I
Did
didn't
you
lose.
did you offer that
I
bet
didn't
out?
lose.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, I think within 5 weeks we've got another a round against each other with you guys, right? So let's see how things pan out. We'll put an overall arching bet that covers everything. The best team of the two. What do you think? We're 5 weeks away probably, or even during the Top
Oh
Guns
yeah,
Cup.
Sham's team will be back to full strength by now.
Indeed,
Well
it
played,
will.
good game, guys.
Thank you.
Excellent. So next one's up. Next one is Giants Bane and Great Balls of Fire. That's myself against Greg. Score on that was 40 points to me, 25 points to Greg. He brought something to the table, which is great, but he's still sitting at the bottom. I think if I took a few loans off Dan, which helped my point scoring, but I think I would have got victory marginally, even with the players that I had. So quite a good victory overall. I'd probably like to say, thank you to Firmino, who's still performing pretty well for me at the moment. I can even afford to hand out Aguero.
How many total points has Firmino got for you now? Like since you've got him?
Since I got him, we're looking at. So he scored a hat trick on game week 20. What's that? Closing 30 plus points within 4 game weeks.
So
Wow.
5 of his 9 goals this season
5 of his 9 goals,
in
yeah.
the past 4 weeks.
How's
That's
that feel,
impressive.
I kept faith in him for half the season, 19 weeks. I thought the timing was right to let him go. Got him Bernardo's, probably got a similar amount of points.
Okay.
It's good.
Been
Good
pretty
move.
even, yeah.
That's
Yeah. You got Jesus as well, so.
That's been helping you out.
Which is helping. He owed me them favours from before. But overall, good game. I mean, I suppose there's a concern for Greg now on his side. It's not looking too strong at the moment. He's bottom of the table.
He got
You know,
Richarlison in.
He's got Richarlison, who's good. He got 1 point. Was it 2 points?
2 points?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
It's-
10% of his.
Of his score, yeah. Exactly. I think his highest. Yeah. Pereira's
Joint-
got 3 points overall.
Third top scorer for him.
Yeah. And Lacasselle.
He's done well with Lascelles.
Yeah.
Well, he was
Like
auto
it.
subbed on.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
because of Mahrez.
Otherwise, it would have been painful.
Painful, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the start, you wouldn't bench Mahrez and put Lascelles on
Mm.
before the game, so it makes sense. The auto sub came in quite handy there.
Mm.
It's basically my dumping ground. Looking at that.
I was
team.
going to say, I mean, like, I feel like Greg and Ed's team are Dan and Abu's dumping ground. So Abu's got all the team members that he doesn't want, but he doesn't want to put place on the farm is with Ed now.
And now with Morata on the move as well, he's going to have to pick up someone else.
He'll most likely pick up Higuain when he comes in. So.
Yeah. If he remembers, right?
Yeah.
We've had the situation
He will
before.
definitely remember.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have a feeling he's going to remember.
Is Richarlison permanent member of Giants Bane?
Yeah. I've already been inquiring. A few inquiries have come through already, I think, for Greg. But I think he does need to make some other moves as well to get out of that bottom. He's got a 3-point margin now between him and Ed. That's quite concerning. If he loses another one, that's it. He's writing himself off. Maybe the championship for next season. You just don't know. Or eliminated altogether. So
But things can change quite quickly. We've seen that in
John's
the first half of the
John's won a
season.
few games now as well. So
Yeah.
it's good. So
You've done the same, right?
well, yeah. Just takes exactly.
The definition of a yo-yo team.
Don't worry, the Reek will return. Don't worry.
We're not sure. We'll see what happens.
Also, I'd like to say, Binesh, your overall points of 902 is what, the third lowest?
Third lowest,
in the
yep.
league?
Wow.
And so you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. So, and considering I'm fourth with a point away from Nick, that's quite surprising, right? So,
If we ran on a point structure instead of a head-to-heads, like, we'd be,
Yeah.
be
I
really
know.
close.
And Greg's got 50 points on Ed. So he's got the problem with Greg's teams, he's got too many players who aren't playing every week.
Yeah.
So he's got Shaqiri,
Walcott.
Mahrez,
Mm.
less so Walcott, but you know,
Mm.
Dine's been doing really well recently. So to turn in -1 is a little unfortunate when he's got double-figure points in the 2 of the previous 5 weeks. So his team will either get a lot of points or not many.
What should he do to get out of that?
Pick better players.
Farm harder.
But make sure he's got enough
Easy.
players. So he's got Morata, who hasn't been playing in weeks. He's got Mahrez, who's inconsistent. He's got a sub-keeper who doesn't play. Walcott seems to have been relegated to the bench now. Littman's getting more of a run. Barnes is always a bit of a rotation risk because you don't know who Burnley are going to play. He just needs those flair players, those high scorers when they do play. He needs to balance that out against some dependable players.
Yeah. Let's see
Do you
what.
think he should rely on players like or teams in the relegation zone? So Cardiff, Huddersfield, hoping for, knowing that you're going to get 90 minutes guaranteed, and then hoping for something like an assist or something. So pick Zanka or Mooney or March, those sorts of players, or Camarasa. They're still available.
Are you asking for yourself or for Greg?
No, for Greg.
I think even Palace or Wolves players will be a good option for him. At the moment Palace have got some good.
Still available.
Sarko's available. He's got some good options out there. So he's got some good options still.
Yeah.
Considering some of the results that Palace have been putting off, or Wolves have been putting off,
Yeah.
I think it's worth thinking about. So if Greg, if you're listening to any of these podcasts, tip of the day,
Just make a transfer.
Make a transfer.
Isn't me giving you the powers.
I think he needs to sacrifice Richarlison, sacrifice Mahrez, bring in some squad players who are going to play week in, week out. Maybe 4 players from those 2 he could get.
Carlson plays week in, week out.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. So if he gives up the big player, he could bring
Trade
more.
out.
Yeah.
Trade out a big player for us as
Yeah.
standard players.
Yeah, we've seen that happen quite a few times in the league already with big trades for 3 or 4 players, and that's turned people's fortunes around.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience, but
Nick's prime example for that, right? So selling Aguero, getting in. So he got in Wilson, Fraser. So that
Maddison.
duo, that partnership, and Madison, and having Vardy as well, the partnership there was great for him. And then on top of that, he farmed out the West Ham duo of Chicharito and Felipe. 3 great partnerships, and that helped him get up to the top 3.
yeah. Onto that note for Nick then, Nick and Abu, the third game in for this podcast, second place v third place, a crunch game, and at one stage I think on Saturday Abu 4 points I think he had on the table in comparison to I think it was 25 odd for Nick, so Nick looked like he was running away with it. Goal for Wilson as well, and then all of a sudden Abu turned it around with Sane, the Man City game, and now it ended up 40-all, a draw, which point each. That's the second draw of
Crazy.
Of the overall draft at the moment. So we haven't got either in the room to comment. I suppose we can look at Abu's team overall and how they performed. I mean, bulk of the points for Sane. He's got issues on strikers as well. Kane's out, but having Aguero off me probably helped him out as well there. And Ericsson, bulk of the points from them 3 individuals.
And that last minute goal from Winks meant Winks grabbed more bonus points and Ericsson only picked up 1. And before that he was on for a couple.
Yeah. It was so...
Shows fine margins.
Anything could have swayed this, right? One point either way would have done that.
I think the real winner out the game, Sham, because for him losing, one of them could have gained ground, but neither of them did. So, yeah.
I suppose in that
Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
2 points gained for me.
I suppose
Instead of any losses. So, yeah. I think we're now down to 2 points. Myself and Abu. So, yeah. I've lost 3 games in the last 5, and I'm still top. So, very grateful.
That works in my favour as well. I think the draw as well. So
definitely.
I've edged the gap on both, not just one of them. So it's
a win for you and 2 losses and losses for Abu and Nicholas means that you get bumped. Or actually, no, you've still got 4 points, so you'll still be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that will still be the fading factor.
So Nick's won 1 in 5 now.
Ooh.
So the perils of trying to play Mendy keep hold of Son while he's away.
Yeah.
It's a pretty down to the bare bones.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, this will be interesting to see how having one sub available, and Wilson's firing, which is great. It all depends on some of the fixtures for them. Chelsea at home next week, so it'll be interesting how next week pan out. But that's interesting how Nicholas will be able to retain it. I know there's conversation between him and I trying to negotiate deals, but nothing came out of it at the end. I mean, he did say he was interested in Aguero, but put a package together, Nick. If you listen to this, put something together. I'm ready to part with Aguero if the deal's right.
Without making it seem like I'm praising you too much or trying to take notes here, you scored 40 points, which is quite a good score, and you've also, although they didn't score any points, you've got a strong bench. How did you get your team like this, taking week or great balls of fire from where they were to where they are today?
I'd like to say I contributed 11 points to that.
Yeah, Dan contributed 11 points.
Klein and Jimenez in
Yeah.
for Trent and Kane.
Yeah,
Trent.
I needed a few carriers. Yeah, we weren't doing much on the bench, so yeah. I think it was all down to the Aubameyang deal for me. Originally, when we did the deal, and that leveraged me to get 3 or 4 good players that I could trade with Dan and Sham and Kay. So I think that was part of the. I think that was a good turning point for me. It was, drinks with you that day. I
You
still
got
remember the
true
deal.
valuation of
Exactly.
I don't want to make it seem like I'm putting words in your mouth, but I knew the answer already. I just did that to make the league go round,
Ah.
It was like a
Yeah.
chain reaction of transfers.
So I think we should do that with Sterling.
We might be able to do that.
So I
Might be able
think
to do that.
you got a good player in Sterling, you got Mane, but I think it's,
Yeah.
let's discuss more towards the end of the podcast. Are there any deals that could be done on this podcast? Right. Next up, Carroll versus Hong Keen FC, Mihir James.
This has to be my favourite
This
game
was
of the
absolutely epic,
this
right?
was the best game. I mean, it was so close all the way through. But enough of me explaining it.
Should we just say, James, this is his second loss, right? Where he's lost by a point.
I
Last
think
week
it's
he
lost
lost
by 1 point, 1 point, and 3 points.
Oh, yeah. So it must be hard to take to happen. But Mihir,
Yeah,
how do you feel?
again, there's complete fine margins. James has been getting some high scores even if he's been losing. So it's always going to be a tough game. My bench pretty much won it for me. Had 25 points on the bench, including Foster, but Bellerin got 11, Zaha with 5, and then the 1 point in the end from Carroll to win it. But on the Saturday we were even. I think it was he was up by a point, and then I had 4 players left to play. He only had Danilo. Danilo scores, so it made it all interesting again. But then Mora didn't play, Jesus didn't play, and Davies didn't play. So my 3 subs came on, and then James, he has 11 points on the bench as well, and Tawaski and Milicevic. So it literally could have gone either way, but it was really close. Glad to get the win, but I feel a bit sorry for him because if he did get those 2-3 wins, he would have been mid-table. Even with the bad trades he's done early on, his team's still actually doing quite well.
Points wise, yeah. But he's still level on overall points with Ed, which is a damning indictment.
It's ironic how we tried to hinder Mihir with Carroll, and he gets a point that could sway him a bit.
But no, I had gotten Kiko Firmino this week from Sham, who got 9 points. So that contributed to the win as well. If I'd kept Laporte, I would have lost.
Wow.
So yeah, it was very fine margins. Sigurdsson and Zuma, they both scored in the last minute of the game. Both scored an assist in the last minute of the game. So yeah, it was really close.
You bagged 8 bonus points as well overall. That's quite a significant amount of bonus points to bag as well. So it's impressive.
From how many people? So Sigurdsson, Bellerin.
I think Firmino got 3, Bellerin got 2, Sigurdsson got 2, Zuma got 1.
Impressive.
That's pretty exactly.
How did you go into this game? I mean, what was your strategy in terms of did you go player for player or?
Yeah, so I brought in Zuma because he had Keane and Pickford. The rest was just going with what I got. I brought in Iwobi. He has a decent record against Chelsea. Wasn't playing Alonso, so gave him out, and that's what got me Zuma in. Yeah, that was it really. I knew it was going to be a tough game. I wasn't confident going into it, but glad to get the win.
Richie's a good signing. I know Newcastle have got a terrible run of games, but I wanted him and you nabbed him just before me.
Yeah, because I had Cardiff, so I brought him in, but yeah, I'll be farming him out now.
That's what I like to hear.
And where do you see your team going now? I mean, you're fifth, another win, so 36 points. You're 4 points away from Binesh in fourth.
Yeah, I still think I'm off the top four in terms of quality of the team, but I've got Ed next week, so hopefully can gain a bit of
Take a
form.
week off.
But yeah, I think my team's doing well. I've still got some good players, but I'm trying to farm a bit more now because I can't just. It's coming towards the second half of the season. Just can't just keep holding on to players now.
Yeah.
That's good. Where's James' team heading, do you reckon? I mean, overall his defence is pretty good. He's hung on to Robertson, Lingard.
I don't think he'll finish in the bottom two, but now John's bridged a bit of a gap between the bottom three, so it'll be hard to get him to climb up to that position.
Exactly. I think it's like 6 points between you and James, right?
I think it's 9.
9, is it 9? That's significant. Yeah, the bottom pack sort of.
Yeah, I mean,
It all comes down to who picks up points off each other at the bottom, isn't it?
Ozil was an interesting move. Not sure, and keeping him as first sub as well. It's.
So he was in
No,
the
you
pitch.
played.
He was
Oh,
also,
oh, did he play? Oh.
His first sub was Keane.
Ah,
But Keane only got 1 point.
interesting. Cool. Right.
But he is being active. He has picked up some. I think he picked up. Who was it? Bournemouth defender.
okay.
So he's tinkering with the team.
And he's risking as well, kicking out Ings, putting in Long. Granted, only after one good spell, one good fixture. He is making those changes. It's difficult. Like you said, he's got a very good defensive line now. He just needs to keep making trades, but every time he does, he knows he just destroys it. He destroys his team. So yeah, it's very difficult.
No worries. On to the final fixture. Ausfallen reserves, the Flying Pigs, Dan versus Ed, 56-30. That was the highest game week points scored, Dan. It's probably is that your highest? I think you got 60s once before.
No, it's not the highest.
Not the highest, but that's pretty
Probably the
impressive.
most satisfying.
What's the highest score you've done in the fixture?
I think I've got 60 before.
Yeah,
Okay.
but for you actually, it was all complete and done and dusted on the Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So
Both Ed and I finished on the Saturday. I could bring in 2 injured players on behalf of Binesh to make sure he won. 9 new players to the squad.
This is 9 farmed players.
yeah, it's
No,
completely.
9 new, so Arnautovic was new. Speroni, obviously, which was a slight regret playing him, but for Top Gun's reasons that paid off. Entirely new back 4, plus Brooks playing his first game for Ausfallen.
That's impressive.
Ward-Prowse and Lookman all new. So yes, quite happy. The
Nice.
fact it was all wrapped up on the Saturday was doubly satisfying,
That's impressive. Yeah,
and I can claim credit for Binesh's win, even though
it's
he'd probably have won anyway.
that's impressive. What went wrong for Ed though? Ed didn't decide to play any players on the.
I think the draft is where
In a situation,
every decision after that has been.
his back 3 only got 1 point.
So his entire defence played 17 minutes between them.
I
Wow.
think Shaw got injured in the warm-up
He was
before the
taken ill,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was unfortunate, but and Cathcart and Decoy I didn't know they were injured. That came out late on the Saturday.
Is a bad draft still an excuse in game week 23?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think
The
so.
amount of people that have been picked up from the farm.
I think it is because if you know how to see players on the farm, or you know how to trade or call in favours and target your fixtures, I agree with you. But Ed seems to be able to do none of those things.
Yeah, I mean, you proved it on this game week by bringing in a whole load of different players that you wouldn't normally bring in and got the victory.
It's also looking at the fixtures as well and knowing, okay, I'm up against Sham this week. Am I really going to call in favours this week, or am I going to call in favours when I'm against Greg or Ed or James to pick up guaranteed wins.
More likely
Ed
against
should
John
be
than Sham.
doing that more and trying to target taking the points off Greg or James or anyone else he thinks is vulnerable. You know, for John, I think with Arsenal playing Chelsea, you had quite a few players playing against one another. So yeah, it's about looking at your opponent and their makeup of the players as well.
Ed is definitely a small fish in a shark tank. I mean, you look at the draft pick. You know, he's got a forward line which is not that great, but could have got more points. So Murray, King, Perez. But his midfield is David Silva, Ozil, Shaqiri, Lallana, and Fabregas. Granted, 3 of them have been playing shockingly bad this season. But when you've got a defensive line of your goalkeeper being Schmeichel and Hennessy, and defenders of Vertonghen, Rudiger, Mustafi, Ake and Gomez. You know, he should have done better there. He should have held on. But like I said at the start, you know, he was a fish in a shark tank. There was too many hungry people out there willing to make those trades. And once he lost his star players in terms of defenders, he didn't have much to go with his midfielders or his strikers. So he's just always in an unfortunate situation.
It reminds me of Cougar in Top Gun. You know, he sort of is quite good what he does, but then he seems to fail quite early on and doesn't make the best of the best. But let's see what happens in the league.
You know, the podcast for the Top Gun Cups just has to be you, just you alone. Just go in. All right.
I'm always surprised when it racks up 100 views.
All them followers. Cool. That's a great game week 2023. Should we have a quick episode about the movements in the table before we go into the fixtures as well? So still at the top, Sham, 45 points.
Pretty much as we were, isn't it?
I think there's no movements at all overall. I think it's just gaps being closed or expanded in other areas. So 5 points between the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a top 3 now, it's a top 4, definitely. Mihir and Dan are 4 points away, but I mean, it's like just one win, so...
I think it's more of a battle between me, Dan and John in the middle now. 3 points between us. So.
Wow, that's tight in the middle pack as well, so... Interesting, John. Welcome to the middle pack.
Thank you for having me, but I've got my sights set on higher things. So if Binesh is still in contention for the top place, then I like to think so am I.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to go on
I-
Hannibal winning.
Everyone's just like really?
Really?
Hey, what's your I mean,
Well, John already won the league. That's how he acted.
I mean, he did, right? This is the best victory he's going to get this season.
Sorry, when did I act like I won the league?
During the draft?
This week.
Yeah.
I barely said a word.
Yeah. But Binesh, how do you feel being in the top 4 now? Like, you know,
encouraged, you know. It's encouraged, you know. I'm a bit like Maverick from the Top Gun film, a bit of a wild card. He doesn't follow the, you know, by the book, makes some odd decisions, but then it seems to have paid off. So it's I feel quite good overall.
You're welcome.
Also, John, you offered Lacazette to Nick, but he turned it down.
This is true.
Got 8 points.
Yeah.
Would have lost it for you, won it for him.
Wow, that's really a
What did you make of the court case verdict?
I felt like it was, you know, this weekend was a great win over Sham and a great win over Nick.
That was not his question, but...
That was the answer. It's a great win over Nick in court.
Yeah. It does feel like he's won the season, right? There's no Ballon d'Or for winning against me, unfortunately.
Yeah. He was asking about Nick, and I felt like I won in court.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Let's look at the fixtures for game week 24. Considering where the table resides at the moment, I think we might see some movement next game week, depending on the results for sure. Considering the gaps are closing. So let's kick off with big fixture: Sham, egg fried Reus versus Ausfallen reserves. Dan, look at this. It's quite a, you know, considering the amount of trades you guys do. Amongst you guys and
with
farming
each other.
and
It is just
I think you guys are the most
ourselves
active people on the market in general, you know, whether it's farming or trading. I think, you know, it's which is great. So
Actually, talking of missed trades, I offered you Pogba if I could pick our squads for this week, which would have made it interesting. So you could have won.
Oh, if you could pick your...
I would have picked my team out of your squad and my squad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I could have won. There was many different avenues that I could have done, and ended up with a win. I didn't do that. So, but yeah, it's difficult playing against Dan. The first time I played him, it was Dan created what is now known as the Frankenstein team. He is the.
I'm glad you've got over it.
I'm
6 months later.
I'm still not over it. It was so painful, like seeing the first Frankenstein team. But you know, I just like I respect his level of attention to farm the farm players, understanding fixtures and playing different tactics, looking at betting tactics, looking at different analysis here, just to get some sort of advantage. So it's going to be difficult playing against Dan. I don't know how it will end up. My team is still in transition, and I'm having my own team. My own players play against me. So the likes of Hazard, Pogba, playing against me. So
Pogba's not your player.
But yeah, I don't know how this will work out, because it's gonna be interesting.
And I think Aubameyang against Cardiff worries me.
Yeah.
And Rashford against Burnley at home.
But he had good chances this game, against Chelsea, right, Aubameyang?
I'm hoping Agent Llorente can do his stuff again.
Yeah.
That was a shocking
Don't
one.
leave him.
Technically scored, right? So
yeah. I mean, it was a risk. It was a bad decision I made. I put faith in him. Granted, in terms of just fixtures, I made a good decision, because I brought in Llorente and Lamela, and they were both on the team sheets to play. But yeah, Llorente just had an awful game. It was terrible, and Lamela just didn't like running on the right hand side. He ran on the right hand side, looked over to his left, normally seeing Kane at least 5 or 10 yards ahead, but it was Llorente trying to catch up from 15 yards back. So he always had to play that pass ball back, which is was difficult for him to adapt to. So I either keep that partnership and see where it goes, or I'll get rid of Llorente to try and find something else.
I think with Lucas Moura coming back, he might play up top now.
So Lucas Moura with Lamela would be good, but I mean that's two attacking midfielders, right? I mean, who will pass them to who? How will the formation be in the midfield? Would you run a diamond midfield? It sounds like it's going to be too short in the midfield. Tottenham have been playing with a very good, compact diamond midfield, and that's how they've won many games. Can they keep doing it without Kane and Son?
And without Ali.
Ali as well.
Ali's the one that we're missing that
Agreed.
potential formation.
Agreed.
Dan, anything on your side? Which team are you gonna play this week?
I think it would have to be a freak run of results for me not to finish, or for me to finish bottom of the round, which is always my concern, with James having lost all 3 now.
Yeah.
So my eyes are on game week 25. I have a plan for game week 25.
There was game week 26.
I'm not that patient.
What's the fixtures?
I'm against Nick that week.
Oh.
So I'll be asking for some.
Oh, we've got each other.
I've got Mihir. Yeah, that works out okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of predictions, I'm still gonna say I'm gonna win. I'm never gonna say that Dan's gonna win, but this is gonna be the most difficult game I've played in this round against Dan.
Most difficult. What about the one against John?
Again, this is the most difficult I've played. I don't think I'm going to get...
I know.
Again, this is the most difficult game.
So you're going for, you're rooting for yourself on this one, Sham?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Dan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, Sham win.
John?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sham. Unlucky he was up against a better team last week, but I think that he'll take it this week.
Mihir?
Yeah, I think fixtures suit Sham's team, so yeah, Sham.
I'm going to go with Sham because last podcast Dan voted against me deliberately.
So useless.
It's just fair. I was going to say Dan, but John did. Oh gosh, Sham.
Now I'm definitely going to lose.
Did you hear the part where I explained that predictions weren't resolved?
Yes, I know you did. This was just into, finish listening in. Next up, Edward with Flying Pigs versus Key Carroll, Mihir. Nice easy round for you. It's or is it?
Well, last time Ed beat me actually, so that was because I made a mistake. I loaned out players against him to get loans against the top managers. So this time around, I'm not making that same mistake.
Come on! I hold the record for loaning out 6 players playing against Ed, and I beat Ed 21-18.
Wow.
You can do this.
Yeah.
Well, last time you had some freak moments like Mustafi scored against Man United, Decore scored against Man City, so you never know. This week I'm not taking any risks. Yeah, gonna go
Brighton against Fulham. He's got 2 Brighton strikers.
It's got 5
Then again,
warning triangles.
is he going to get enough players playing?
Then his Watford players are away at Spurs.
Wolves at home to West Ham, and he's most likely going to be able to pick up Jota. So
Do you reckon that's?
He didn't make any trades last week.
Yeah.
he didn't. He did not.
Yeah, surprising.
Maybe he knew he was doomed against me. So.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Very far, yeah.
So it could be 5 aside versus 11 aside, but let's see.
And
So.
was Shaw like that badly injured?
He was taken ill.
Oh, okay.
But the interesting thing about the next set of games is there's FA Cup this weekend, so who knows what could happen out of that in terms of your Sanchez might get a start, other players might pick up knocks, get tired, get rotated next game week.
Especially with Arsenal playing Man U in the FA Cup, both probably play full teams, so you never know. And then the next game is on the Tuesday night, a few days later, so it could be some rotations.
Could be, definitely.
How are you gonna plan? Are you gonna do man for man, or are you just gonna pick your best team?
Some of them are man for man, like United defenders cancel each other out, but no, majority is just going with my best 11.
Predictions? Come here. You're rooting for you.
Yeah, back myself to win.
Sham?
Yeah, Mihir.
Dan?
I think Ed will get double figures. And Mihir will win.
I'll be rooting for Ed, but I think Mihir will win.
I'll Mihir win for this one, and I'm suggesting that more than 5 players will definitely play, but any more than that, I'll be very surprised.
I think it's going to be like plus 30. Mihir winning. So,
it'll be a good. Hopefully you can wrap it up on the first day, on the Tuesday, and then get your comms ready for the next.
That's right, my comms
Exactly
what.
Cool. So a majority win for Mihir. Next up, we have Hong Kong FC, James versus Cronutters for Abu. This will be an interesting game considering Abu's current run of form, especially with some injuries, and James is high scoring but still not winning. So, so at the moment, I think Kane being out, he's got Lukaku. Abu's got Lukaku, Mitrovic up front. He's still got Ramsey. Sane's performing it really, really well at the moment. So I think he's still got a good squad overall.
Sane's in a ridiculous run of form. Eriksen, you do wonder if there's going to be enough. He's going to carry on creating chances, but you wonder if there's going to be people on the end of it.
With James, though, he has some good fixtures for his defence. His Everton pairing is playing Huddersfield, so good fixture for him there. City playing Newcastle. Danilo seems kind of like a fixed player
Started the
in
last
that
3.
squad
Yeah.
now. So
Started the last
I
3.
doubt he will be
More
rotated.
than that, 5.
Yeah. Robertson as well. So
Mm.
you know, Liverpool have got good fixtures coming up. I think they play Leicester at home. So they've got and then Ake is the only one who's got a bad fixture, but I mean he can play 3 at the back and have Milo playing in the midfield. So very good fixtures.
I think Abu's got Lovren injured, Mina's not been playing recently, Ramsey rotates, and then Mitrovic hasn't been doing much. Lukaku doesn't start now, so yeah, we'll be in.
That's actually
close
quite
game.
a close game. Actually,
Yeah.
interesting. I think.
It'd be interesting to see whether Lukaku starts in the FA Cup game.
Yeah.
As to whether Rashford can't play 90 minutes every single game, not without picking up knocks. So it'd be interesting to see who starts that, because I think they may play someone different in the league fixture.
Predictions, guys. So John, what's your verdict on this one?
I think Lukaku may come good, and I'm going to back Abu to win by 1 point.
Cool. Abu victory. Dan?
I think it's close, yeah. I'm going to go Abu slightly because of Sane, his form carrying him yet again.
Yeah. Cool.
One-man team.
One-man team.
Yeah,
Sham?
I think I agree with Dan. It's going to be close. Abu's
Abu
going
win.
to pip it by less than 5 points. I agree.